Okay, so we basically discussed about the different properties of CSS like opacity, background, and all stuff. Right? So a small topic. Now let's discuss the questions first, right? We had to discuss the question of assignments, right? Really sorry. Let's discuss the assignment question first. Yeah, it's here. Okay, so I'm assuming most of us like have done this, but still there are chances like many of us were not able to. So let's start doing it one by one. Like, were you guys able to do it? Yeah, just type it up and like just let me know. Ki, was it easy? Was it difficult? And how was your understanding regarding things? Like, were you able to do it like entirely by yourself? And like, there is a possibility that all the questions was not done, and there are like one or two doubts. So that's perfectly fine. You're in a good category if it is the scenario. Yes, done. Great. Okay, so I am assuming like most of you have, it was quite basic. I know it was basic. Like we are just, like still rendering on the basic topics only. Done, right? Done, sir. Okay, so we'll just like try to finish it up ASAP. We'll discuss it here only. Is there any need to discuss it? Just let me know first that like, am I the only one who will be discussing for myself? Anyone needs to discuss this? Like, is there anyone who is having doubts and don't feel shy? Just let us know. Na? It's better for all of us if we'll discuss. Is there anyone just saying Ayuva who like was finding this task a little difficult one and was having doubts? Then we can discuss it right here. Else, I'll consider this as over and then we'll proceed ahead.
Excuse me, sir.
Bonus challenges. Okay. Yeah, Kushak, tell me.
So there was a question regarding give the second P inside the third division a 5 pixel white border.
Okay.
I
Like
have
in
made
the
the code.
assignment only, right?
Yes, sir. Sir, I have
Okay,
made the
okay.
code and this was the only code that was not working. Others were working fine. So if you could tell me what is wrong with it.
Sure. Let's do one thing. We'll like discuss each and every code. Like, बहुत जल्दी से we'll try to make do it fast, right? Okay. So let's again focus on this assignment, right? The question is: give the body element a background of something. So simple. Select the body and give it a background color. Background color is same as that of which is mentioned above. Background color, and that's it. Simply, if we do this and where's the HTML? Right. Let us run it up. Like the background color is now being given the color which was allotted, right? This was quite basic, I feel. So there nobody here was stuck in this. So okay. Next question was make the H1 element. We have to give the H1 element color as well. Selecting H1 element, all the H1s, right? So color and simply copy pasting it right here. Color. Let's see this. The H1 element is getting this selector exercise, right? Uh, Okay, cool. Now make all the H2 elements orange. Simple again. Color has orange. Hardly matters which color is it, and H2 elements are getting color here, right? Okay, so make all the Li elements blue. Pick your own hexadecimal. Doesn't matter. Selecting all the Lis, and again, color. Color is equal to blue. Any blue doesn't matter. Saving it. Now we'll see. Then I guess these would be the Lis, and these are in blue color. Change the background on every paragraph to be yellow. Again, easy. Selecting para and background color to be, let's say, yellow, and it's working. Make all the inputs having have a 3 pixel red border, right? How we can select all the inputs? Again, simple input. This will select all the inputs for you guys. Now we have to give border, right? Okay, border of 3 pixel. I'll make it solid. It's not mentioned, right? 3 pixels solid, right? Let's do this. And yeah, both the inputs which we are having here are getting a red border. So till here works fine. And give everything with the class hello at white background. Like simple, it's hello. This is how we select classes. White background as if just a background color of we can say white. Any color? Yeah, white. Uh, Works fine as I guess this was the one which was given the class. And give the element with ID special again a border. How to select ID? This is how we select ID. ID was special, right? Special. Again, border of 2 pixel, solid and blue, right? This would be the one with ID. Yeah, it's written, it's with an ID. Cool. Make all the paragraphs that are nested inside the divs. Okay. 24 pixel font, right? How we can do it? We can basically use a descendant operator. All the paragraphs which are present inside this div, they would be targeted. And how we can do it? We give a font size of let's say 75 pixels, right? This is what we have to do. Make all the P's that are nested inside the divs. Take care. Cool. Uh, right. All the paragraphs which are inside the divs, the size has been increased. Like it's clearly visible. Make your own inputs with type text. Print only inputs with type text as they have gray background, right? Now, what we want to do is like I have an input, right? Input with the type is equal to what is the type? Text. Simply, this is how we'll select the input. And what we'll give the background color. The background, yes, we have to give the background color. Again, the background color has to be gray and let's see. Puts with yeah, see, this was the one. Now it is getting a background color gray. So works fine till here, I guess. Okay. So give both P's inside the third div, both the P's inside the third div, pink color, right? Inside the third div, right? Initially, we want to select the div of which nth of type, that will be third, right? Third div, this is how we'll be selecting the third div. Now we can go for descendant or like, is that child? No, we can go for the descendant combinator. We'll simply select the P's which are present in the third div. We'll give it a background of pink, background color pink. So let's see, we are getting background color pink in this. This must be the third div which is present with us. So that's why both the paragraphs which are present in it, they are turned out to be pink. This was your doubt. I don't exactly remember the name. Was this your doubt?
No, sir, this was not my doubt.
Okay. Let's proceed again. Give the second P inside the third div. See, it's again
Yes, sir,
simple.
this one was.
Okay, so basically what's happening is I have to do the same thing, but it is asking me to do with the second div. How will I do it? Again, I can use nth of type. Nth of type inside the P will be 2. I'll save it and let's see. What do we need to give? White border, right? I need to change the property. Border of 5 pixel. Let's make it solid. Let's make it white, right? See, the second div here is getting the property white border with some pixels, like I guess it was 5 pixels, right? So I guess you were not able to decode this thing. We can also like use this descendant combinators. The second term is also able to like be selected like this. I hope so. Now you got the point.
Sir, I
Is it
think I
clear?
didn't wrote solid at that one, so that's why it's making a problem.
Okay. So
Because I wrote the upper
you
one
did this
correctly.
right. You did this right.
Yeah, yeah, I
Then
did
it's
this
over.
that one.
Then it's okay. Then it's okay. The properties are just like they are vague. You can use any of the property, and if you have done this, then it's like okay, you have cracked it. Congratulations for that. Okay, make the EM in the third div element white and 20px font. Again, I have to select this third div, and the EM inside this third div had to be what? Had to be white and font 20 color. Okay, I'll be giving it a color of simple white. And after that, I'll be giving it a font size of 20 pixels. I guess this is also easy. Which one is the third? Which one is the EM? Yeah, this one. I guess this is the EM because I've given the color white, right? Yeah, this would be the one. Cool. Now these are the boldness challenges. How we'll encounter them. Let's see. Make all the checked checkboxes have left margin of 50 pixel margin lefting. Okay. So how we'll do it? We'll simply like see this checkbox is basically a form of input, right? Inside the input we have an attribute check, so we'll be selecting the attribute like this. Just a second, around like this. So all the inputs which are having attribute checked inside it, now they'll be encountered, and like we have to give a margin, right? Margin left of it's 50 pixels, right? We'll simply give 50 pixels. Now let's see. Yeah, there is a difference between the above two, which are already being checked. Like this is the space between that margin. If I'll increase the space from 50 to like let's say 150, I guess now you will be able to see the difference little clearly. Then yes, there is a space between like these LIs as well as these checkboxes. So we were able to do it. Fine. This could be the doubt with you guys, right? This could be the possible doubt because you don't know that this is an attribute, how to select attribute selectors. I asked you to study over it as well.
सर
And
इसमें हमने टाइप इक्वल्स टू चेक मतलब वाली लाइन लिख
your
सकते
voice
हैं.
is little crack. Your voice is little cracking. Can you just like be a little soft so that I can try to understand that?
सर इसमें टाइप इक्वल्स टू फिर ब्रैकेट डबल कोट्स में चेक लिख सकते हैं.
I guess that won't like because it's not a type, right? That is an attribute. It's not a type. See, I'll make you see that. You have written type is equal to checked. It is not showing because the input type which is present with us. See, where is the input? Um, where is the input? Where is the input? See here. Here the input types are basically text and password. But where is the checkbox? Is it of check or what? Just a sec, huh? Walk dog, walk dog, walk dog. See, here checkbox is a type, but why is it not happening then? You asked me the question that if the input type is equal to check, right? You asked me this, right?
नो सर वो मैंने ईडी ही था उसमें मतलब.
You see, that is not an input, right? That is what I was trying to explain. If you are saying that if you will select with the type of checkbox, then all these three will be selected, right? But this checked is an attribute, not a type. So you can't do it like this. Like you can't give it a type is equal to checkbox. Type is equal to check. You can't do this. This is wrong.
Sir,
Yes,
I
yes.
used colon checked and it was working fine.
So it will be
Just
like this, right? You work like this.
no, just colon checked, like not even input. It's taking it as in like.
Pseudo element. It must be like considering itself as a pseudo element. You are saying you
Yes,
did
sir.
like this.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
This is working. This is basically part of pseudo elements, right? I explained about pseudo elements and pseudo classes, right? I did. I am sure I did. I am sure of it, right? See
Yes.
again the
Yes, sir.
checked one cannot be the input type. See, the only person who was confused here is, I guess, the one who used type is equal to check. That is not like this is now it can be not it can be done. Either just give it as an attribute or make it a pseudo element. Like you can use both the ways, either this or a pseudo element, right? Both the ways are like working fine. Hope so. Now the doubt is clear. And this was easy. I don't think so. There should be problem in this because these are just the basics. But even if it is there, but no worries. Just read the documentation and move ahead. Okay, so next is make the label elements uppercase. Okay, so we need to select the label. And after selecting the labels, I'll make them text transform, right? Text transform to need to do it uppercase, right? Okay, let's see. Where is the label? Okay, these are the labels. The name and the passwords are the labels, and I have corrected them to uppercase from whatever they were earlier. I don't know. So the labels are now being transformed to uppercase. Make the first. Is someone saying anything, right? Okay, so worries. Now we need to go for make the first letter of the element with the ID special. Okay, so we have ID special. Inside the special, I need to can just I guess there is someone else is coming. Please make sure to mute things so that I don't get confused between the doubts and your conversation. Right? Okay. So make the first letter of the element with ID special. Great. Again, I have a ID special. Now I need to encounter the first element, so I'll use the double pull. I'll write the first letter, and this is how I'll select that element. And I need to give it a color green and font size 100%. Right? I need to give it a color green. Along with that, I'll give it a font size of 100 pixels. Let's see, is that any of that? Yeah, see, I'm getting this eye with 100 pixel size and a font color of green, right? Make the H1 element's color change to blue when hovered over it. That is also easy. H1, when it gets over, you'll simply change the color to blue, right? I'll change the color blue. Simple. Let's see, where is the H1? This is the H1, right? I can see that the purple is turning out to be blue. And make the A element that have been visited gray. That is again simple. A visited and the color has to be gray. Let's see again, where is our A tag? I guess this is our A tag. I'll go to Facebook. I've visited it there. Let's assume it is. Let's refresh it once, right? Yes, the turnout of the color has done with gray color. We have applied gray, right? Yeah, it turned out to be gray. So, okay, so that's it. These were the questions. So it's okay. I hopefully there are no doubts now in the assignment. Like, is it okay for you guys now? Ekta, I know most of you were able to do it and you guys did it pretty well, I guess so. I hope so. Now there are no doubts left. Clear, got it, sir. Clear. Okay, Abhishek. So, okay, we can proceed forward with a small topic. So, it's a topic namely as Flexboxes. It's important as well. And again, I'll ask you to go to MD and to like. Okay, but we are having like one more what we say a website for it. Like if we go to CSS tricks now. If you go to CSS tricks, then this is the one. CSS tricks. यही था क्या? CSS tricks flexbox करके भी देख लेते हैं. Flexboxes. Okay, yeah, okay. I'm sending this link to you guys. This is like the best way wherein any person can learn Flexboxes. So just for your reference, I'll send this and let's start with what Flexboxes do basically, right? For example,
So-
like yes.
So before that, sir, was there any link that I missed for submission?
No. The submission link I'll be providing you with the like we have a portal of our own. Like I'll be like entering each and every like I'll be asking you to register there and therein you'll be like submitting your assignments. You'll be getting the link directly. So I have not given any link to submit any of the assignments yet. But you have to do it your assignments as well as your homeworks. You need to either make a Google Drive or you will be like given the option to share a file. This is how you will be like submitting your stuff. Right, so just prepare yourself that it can come anytime, maybe tomorrow or maybe like not today, that's for sure. Tomorrow or in the other class, you can be asked to is someone again asking anything? I am not able to get you.
Sir, can we upload on GitHub?
Yeah, I'll not be checking the assignments. There are different TAs, those will be like checking the assignments, right? So like going to each and every person's GitHub and like checking it right there is not a good practice. So it's better for us to, if you will be like uploading over the portal, that is like a little easier way for us, right? You don't have to worry about things. You just keep going and do the things. That's checking part is an evaluation part is on us. So just study and learn things, right? Okay. So Flexboxes. What basically happens is like let's assume we are having a div. It's just same as that of display inline block, right? But it itself is a different topic and we can manipulate different things there. Like generally when we make divs like this, right? One div, two div, three divs, four div. They come in from top to bottom, and now we want that they have to be like in a row. Like the one thing which we did in inline block is that they act inline and we can like apply the properties of block in it. So similarly, flexboxes are used in the same way. So let's make a like folder inside our lecture 5 only, right? Yeah, inside my lecture 5 only. Let's boxes. I'll be making index.html. I'll be making style CSS. Ah. Now what I'm doing is inside a section, I am making a div of like I'm making 4 divs. Let's make 5 divs. Doesn't matter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'll give it a inline color or background color to be, let's say, purple, right? And I'll simply copy the stuff. Changing this purple to black, changing this to whitish, changing this to orange, changing this to, and this purple is there. Let's change this white to this color. Change this color. Okay, so cool. I'll go to my style.css. I'll simply give a width and height to it. Width of 200 pixels or 150 will work. 150 will work. Height of 150 pixels and that's a border of 2 pixels solid gray. Let's make it a little dark border. Let's make it 5 pixels. Right. Now let's see. We can see that we are getting the different divs just one after the another. But what I want is they should act like inline without using inline blocks. So what I'll do is I'll go inside my div. I'll simply say, oh, I've already selected it. Div should have a display of let's say display flex. Let's see. Okay, I have to give it a section, right? Just to say. Right. I need to give the class to the section. Really sorry, I gave it to div. Now I can see that it is acting like an inline block. Like the divs are one after the other. Now what I want is I need to give them like a space between them, or I would say I need to give. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's see the responsive behavior first. Like if I increase the size, there's nothing happening. But if I try to reduce it, ultimately what's happening is that your flex boxes are like your divs are getting reduced to a huge extent, right? You can see till the extra spaces there, nothing will happen. But once you will start reducing the size from wherein it's like touching the boundary, then the size of divs are also getting automatically what we say that reduced, right? So what I'll do is I'll simply uh, go to my section like div. I'll give it a let's say margin of initially 20 pixels. See, we are getting the margin and cool again. So now what I'll say is, okay, my display is flex. I want it to be let's say once I'll just reduce the size and let's see what will happen, right? If I want it to be the flex direction to be let's say row, I'm saying its flex direction to be row. So now they are turning out to be like from 1, 2, 3, 4 is from left to right, right? But if I change this row from row to column, then let's see. They turned their direction of being flexed from the row towards the column, right? They will act like an inline block thing only, but now the direction of the flex, that is the position in which they are getting flexed is column, not row now. And again, if we'll see in the case of row, and it was coming from left to right. Okay, that's good. Now, what if I want this to be like in a reverse order? I'm writing the flex direction to be row, right? If I'll write the flex direction to be row reversed, then let's see what will happen. In this case, purple is the first one and one is written inside it. But in the case of row reverse, let's see what will happen. I'll comment this out first. The purple is on the right side and the like we can see that one is being written inside that div and it's coming entirely opposite way, right? You can see it's coming the entirely opposite way. And similarly, we can go for column reverse as well. Flex direction can be call reversed. Flex direction can be column reversed. If I'll do it, then it is coming purple from the downward side, right? So this is basically how we can like give the flex a direction according to us, either be row, either be like column, or either opposite to the row, that is reversed of the row, or reverse to the column. We can do it. Let's do one thing. I don't want it to be, I just want it to be like the row. These were the possible ways, so that's why I want it to be row. I'll save it. But I want it to be like distributed evenly. If my screen size is big, you can see there is a huge white space which is there, which is not being occupied. So what I'll do is I'll give it a property of justify content. If I'll do this justify content, let's say in center, let's see what happens in center. So if I'll reduce the size of my viewport, all the divs which are being here are basically turned out to be like equally distributed from left and right side. But I don't want it to be in center now. I want it to be like, let's say, I'll say evenly, space evenly. Then see, each and every div is given the same amount of space from the left and right side. If you can see that I'll just reduce the size, then also it will happen. If I'll increase the size, then also it will happen, right? So this is basically justifying the content, how you want it, how you want your x-axis to look like. For example, if this is my row, right? This is my div. So justify content will help you out with this axis in the case of row, right? When our flex direction is basically row, then this is your justify content axis, right? Not the axis, just for explanation. This is basically responsible for your justify content thing. And the one from top to bottom is basically your align item thing, like align item. Let's do that also. In the case of row, we are doing it like, let's say I'm trying to align my items. I'm trying to align my items from, let's say, towards the center. Let's see what happens. We would go into line item center. Just a second. The line item center is if I'm giving it some specify content, and line item is the one. I guess yes. If I do it flex end, let's try to do it flex end. Both the properties are not working at the same time. How is it possible? I'll give it column. Just a second. Okay, so we need to give it a column at that time. Really sorry. Let's not discuss about a line item right now. Just give me 2-3 more minutes, then we'll discuss about it. Like justify content, just remember about the x-axis over which we are working. In the case of row, that is considered to be our justify content. So here we can give it space evenly, or we have also an option that we can give it the space between. Right now, the space between the extreme two ends of the divs is reduced, but there is a huge amount of space between the two divs inside it, right? This is how we can do it. But still, our problem is not resolved. That is, if I like what we do is, if I just reduce the viewport, then the divs are also being like reduced with their size. I don't want it. So solution to this problem is we can give it a flex wrap. We can give it a flex wrap. If I want it to be wrapped, then I'll say wrap. See, if I'll do a wrap, what will happen? It will automatically take the minimum possible size of the different divs which needs to be there for them to stay in one line. If the size is reduced according to the viewport, then it will automatically throw the last div towards the next line. See, automatically throw the last div, automatically throw the last div. And see, in the case of this, we are getting all the fives in a one row. Like this is something which is like a responsive behavior. What if I would have written here that no, I don't want wrap here, no wrap. Then even after reducing the size of the div is being hampered. But in the case of wrap, what it'll do is it will not reduce the size of the div, it will shift it to the next row, right? Cool. This you can see. You can see, right? Now what we can do is let's do one thing. I've already given it a space between. I'll do it evenly, right? I want to do the space between to center. Let's say center, right? All my content is being in the center. If I reduce the size, then it's showing the same behavior. What I want is I want them now to be in a column row. Like this was a row flex, right? And now I want them to be in column flex. What I'll do is they are column flex now. I told you about the x-axis, right? Let's see that how this justify content will work now. if I'll do it flex end, let's see, justify content flex end. Is it doing anything right now? Like, is it showing you any of the change? No. But what if I'll change this align items from justify content to flex end? Then yes, it is showing me the change, because in the case of columns, how you can treat things, like how you basically justify, like change the positions of them, or like play with them, is like using align items. That is from y-axis thing, right? If I change this flex end to, let's say I want to make it to center, then they are coming towards the center of the side, right? This is how we can like manipulate their sizes. And of course, if I reduce the flex wrap, like this will not be like hampered in this case. At max, you will go for like this minimum screen which you work over is 320 or 280, so you won't go beyond that. But I hope you got the purpose of writing flex wrap there. So what basically will help you is this website, a complete guide to this Flexboxes. Just go there. Like, it is very pretty examples which are given here, along with the explanation of each and everything, that how things work, how the flex works, flex direction, flex grow. These are a few more properties which we are not discussing right now, because we know that everything can't be explained or spoon feeded. So this, you guys have to go through it very thoroughly. This is a really beautiful website which will definitely help you out. If you like spend your 20-30 minutes here, then all the concepts of your Flexbox will be cleared for sure. Right? See, there are different properties, and it's like pretty well explained here, right? So I have given the link in the chat box. Have I not? Oh wait,
Sure.
I just sent the link. Just sent the link. Sorry. So right. So this, you have to like work for it on your own. I have given you, like, this has to be your homework from the link. Just make sure you do it from here. It's like the most easiest way where you can learn these Flexboxes. Along with that, I don't think so much more things are here to discuss. So Flexboxes, you have to do it on your own. I just gave you a glimpse and a resource of it. Now let's see a small more topic. Like, Flexboxes are basically can be used for responsive stuff, right? What I just basically did was, if it was in my row, I reduced, I tried to make it really responsive kind of stuff, right? I made it responsive. So Flexboxes can be used for that, but we have one more way, like, which is a better way, which we use in the industry to do it, is like we use media queries, right? If I make a folder mainly as media queries, and what I'll do is, again, a very small introduction of it. Well, and let's say line.css for HTML, go for it. Your style sheet. Let's say I have a section inside my section. I have my article. Inside my article, I'm in a paragraph of some lorem text. Let's make it intent, like lorem text. And inside my, there is my article ending. Right. After my article, having a div of having UL, which is having LIs, and any content is written between them. I don't care. Any content. Let's do it in a different way. No, let's make it that way only. And paragraphs are there of lorem 34. And I'll copy the paragraphs. I'll simply see. So this is basically my HTML content which I just made. I want it to be like behave little differently. I haven't given a heading, right? Just a second. Heading of media queries, right? So, okay, media queries there. Now I want that, let's assume this is my viewport. This is my viewport, this is my screen. See, basically, we do have a mobile wherein we check for websites. We do have tablets wherein we check for the websites, the laptops, like normal laptops which are there in front of us, right? Normal laptops. As well as we have big desktops with us, right? Big desktops with us. Like, let's assume 2180 above pixels. This is like somewhere around 1200 pixels. This is around 780 pixels. and this is around 320 pixels, right? These are the different sizes and the devices over which we can visit our website. But we don't want like, okay, let's assume having a website here like this, in which the heading color is blue initially. But when I want its heading color to be green when it turns out to be uh, in a media query in a size of less than 1200 pixels, I'll make it green at that time, and I'll make it yellow at the time when it's less than 780, and I'll make it black. Like we can just assume any of the color, right? So for different screen sizes or different display blocks which we are having, we can change that, manipulate the size of it, and how we'll do it, we'll just see. So basically, initially, let's assume having H1, which is of a font size, let's say 100 pixel, and it is having a color. It is having a red color. Let's see. Yeah, media query of font size. Acha, font. I just gave font, right? Font size 100 pixels and something like this. Okay. Now I want to apply my media query. The way we do it is like I'll simply write enter and I'll write media. When I'll write media, it will ask me, okay, over what you want your on which screen you want to do it. I'll simply write, I want it to be over my all the screens, right? I want it to be over my all the screens, and then I'll like give it a width that till what width I want it to be. I'll simply say either all, like the possible ways. Let me just tell you the possible ways. @media. This is how you'll encounter your media query. Herein, you will tell about the device. Either it will be generally we use for screen, right? We work on screens. We don't work on printers and all. So that's why we generally write screen. But we can also write all. This will like cover all the devices over which your websites can be viewed or displayed, right? So we'll be writing screen as well as all wherever needed, right? Along with that, I'll be giving a more information to it, like an attribute kind of thing, not an attribute kind of thing. I'll be telling it, okay, I want its maximum width to be, let's say, 780. Like maximum possible width for this media query could be 780. And if the width exceeds this size, then this media query would not work. The size which is less than 780, like from 0 to 780, this media query would work, but not more than 780 pixels. Let's see how what I'm trying to say. If let's change it from this to, I'll do it all only, right? No worries, I can do it all as well as screen. Now I'll add some extra information, and I want my maximum width of my whatever screen I'm using. I'm using all in this case. Maximum width of my position of my screen to be 780 pixels. Then I want to encounter this H1, the H1 which I gave the color. H1, I want its color to be, let's say, yellow, and its font size will turn out to be like half of it. Like font size turns to be half of it. Font size to be, let's say, let's reduce a little more this of it. Right. Right now, I'm not able to see any change because it's my 100% screen, right? Herein, you can see your dimensions, like what is the size of my screen, right? I can change it that way, and I can change it this way as well, right? These both are the ways in which I can change the responsivity as well as the screen size of my viewport. Simply, I gave it a max width of 780, right? So above 780, this won't work. This yellow color won't work, and we can see it is not working. But once I'll like come near 780, and I'll simply move it to 783, right? So it is not working. Slowly and gradually, we'll take it to 780 and see. Once it reaches 780 or even less than that, the media query's font size is reduced. Its font size. This heading reduced its font size, as well as it reduced the color as well. It changed the colors as well, right? If I want to change the 700 to 400, will it work? Yes, it will work because I have written the maximum width could be 780. That is any range from 0 to 780, but not beyond 780. Okay, what we want is we also have our UL, right? Initially, if I want my UL to be of background color that is green, at that time, what you do is you encounter this UL, and after encountering this UL, you just give it a let's say a background color of aqua. Also, add a border to it. Also, add a border to it. Let's see. Uh, let me increase the size first. Right now, it is showing me a red color heading with 100 font and my LI or maybe the UL, I don't know what I encountered. I encountered the UL, my unordered list, with the background color of green. Once I'll reach the size of 780 and below, see what will happen is each and every element which I target, including this header as well as my unordered list, change the property because of this media query. I gave it a border box as well. Also, I gave it a border as well. It gave the border, it changed the background color, and changed the size of my heading as well as the color there. So this is the possible way wherein which you generally prefer your responsivity. This is how you will tackle your responsivity kind of thing, right? This is for responsivity, or we can say is for responsive behavior, right? Responsive behavior of our website. We can use different breakpoints as well. Like let's assume I'm using this as a breakpoint, right? I'll simply copy this stuff, I'll paste it here, and I'll reduce it with the size of, let's say, 580. When my maximum width is 580, I don't want to do anything with my heading tag. I want my like background color to be, let's say, to turn out to be pink, and I want its border to be little dark, let's say it's 5, with a background color of red over it, right? Red won't look good. Let's make it yellow, right? Let's save it and see. Right now the size is 653, and we have made a media query of maximum width of 580, right? So let's make it 580. The moment I'm near 580, what I'll do is I'll click on this 580 button and see the border is turned little bolder and the background color changed to pink from the cyan color, right? This we can do. Now the question can come that I have applied this maximum width of 780 as well as 580. Now see what happens is the maximum width 780 will be written above, and this maximum width 540 will be written below. Since the flow of code is from top to bottom, it will encounter first, and it will encounter at like the later stage. The one which is encounter at the later stage, that is given the preference. Like this will be given the preference. Let's assume if I would have written 540 here and 780 here, the preference would have been given to this. So this 540 media query would have never worked. Why? Because this 540 is less than 780, and this 780 was given preference. So all the like transition changes, all the changes which are being told or which are being like asked to do in the 780 would be there from 0 to 780 only. So any media query or media element between this 780 or less than 780 would not work if provided this 780 is below that media query. It has to be above it. I just told you the flow is from top to bottom, and the one which comes lately, the one which comes the later, will be given the preference. So that's why if you are using maximum width, in case of that, you will use your small media query towards the bottom side. And if in case you want to change it with the minimum width, from maximum, you want to give it a minimum width, then it will work vice versa. In that case, you need to like place this minimum width of 780 in the downer side and 540 in the upper side. I hope so. This is something which needs to be told. So I hope so the thing is clear with you guys, right? This media query stuff is clear, I guess so. And if it is not, then go to MDN and of course read about it. This is important kind of stuff, right? So cool. Next thing we are looking forward for is the transition thing, right? Transition thing. Just a second. Yeah.
Sir, can you please repeat what you said?
Okay. I got
About
it. You are confused. You are confused with the positioning of the media query, right? Where you want to place which media query, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me do it here as well. Right. See, if I'm using this maximum width, I can change this from all to my screen as well, right? SCRWE. I can change this all to my screen as well. It's okay, totally fine. Now, if I'm using this maximum width thing, then this like pixelate size has to be below than the one which is above it. Like let's assume I'm using this 780, I'm using this 580 with maximum width as my special information, right? It's with my extra information. Then the one which is with bigger in the pixel has to be above it, because the flow of code, the flow of reading the code is from top to bottom. And once we go from top to bottom, the one which is present at the later area, later stage, like this is present lately, right? This will be given the preference, and not the above, which is not the one which is above it. We can understand it with a simple way. For example, if I'm giving my paragraph as a color of let's say green, and just a second, yeah, if I'm giving a paragraph color of green and I'm writing some blah 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 content, I don't know whatever it can be, and then I'm giving my paragraph a color of red, right? Let's see which will it take. See, all my paragraphs are taking the color red because this was encountered lately, and because of which the preferences will be given to this, and this will be encountered and manipulated. So that is why the media query, which is smaller in size, it is compulsory to like keep it bottom, provided this is maximum width. If this is minimum width, right? If this is minimum width, in case of minimum width, you'll do it the opposite way. In case of minimum width, it has to be above the one which is bigger than that, right? I guess so. This is right. I've done it right. Yeah. In case of minimum width, the larger screen size has to be in the bottom. In case of maximum width, the largest screen size has to be in the bottom, or the smaller screen size has to be in the bottom. Now is it clear? I'll
Yes,
just
sir.
write a
Thank you.
comment as well. Right. In case of minimum width, uh, large pixel has to be in the bottom. I'll copy this and paste it here. In case of maximum width, the large pixel has to be in the top. Right. Hope so. This will not like create a like problem for you. Okay. So we are learning about transition now. What transition is? Let's assume this with the help of example only. I'll make a folder of transition text.html. Let's do one thing. I'm making a H1, giving it a heading. We are learning transition, right? We are learning transition, and okay, we are learning transition. Let's see what comes. We are learning transition. If I go to my style.css page, I'll give it a, let's say, font size of font size of 50 pixels, right? And let's give it an animation, right? Let's give it, so not the animation. Let's give it a text shadow, right? Mark photo shadow. Let's see this, and I'll copy this directly, right? Again, I'll copy this directly. Um, okay, so what I've done is I'm given a text shadow from directly copying it from my Dodo. So see, we can see the text is being little, looking 3D kind of stuff. Now what I want is, if I'll hover over my, let's say, I give it a color as well. If I'll hover over my H1, then what I want is I want its color to turn out to be, let's say, from yellow to red. See, what I'm doing is if I'll hover over it, it will turn out to be red within like fraction of seconds, right? Within a fraction of second. Any of my heading is turning out to be red in fraction of seconds. There is no right? Time duration or a time lag between it. So what I want to do is now I'll give it a property. I'll give it a property of, let's say, transition. I'll give it a property of transition. Inside this property, what I'll do is I'll write all. Why all? I want the transition to happen in all the things which I'll be working over with in my H1. Let's say I also have a border of 2 pixel solid gray. Let's see it this way. I have a border as well. And if I'm hovering over my H1, I want its color to be red. I want its border to be like, let's say, 5 pixel, that too dotted, and it be green, right? Right. Okay. If I'll just remove this transition right now for a moment, what will happen is if I hover over it, the transition color as well as the border is being changed, right? Now what I'll do is I'll use a property name as transition. I'll give the transition to all, that all the like properties which are being affected in this, I'll give the property, I'll encounter them, all of them, right? Also, I'll write the transition, what's that time, transition duration, that what time I want to give it a delay, right? Let's assume I want to give it a delay of, not delay, the duration. At what time I want this entire change to happen? I want this entire change to happen in 3 seconds. That's why I've given transition duration. Let's see. If now I'll hover my like my scroll event or what my mouse over this H1, then see what change will happen. Slowly, it's turned out to be a dotted border and the color red. Now, if I'll take it back, then slowly it will change its, its properties. Slowly it is changing and taking back the properties, right? It's back and forth process, changing, coming back, changing, coming back. Similarly, in the above one, changing, coming back, changing, coming back. Now, if I would not have written all in this and I've just stated that, okay, go with the color. I want the transition to happen only on one of my property, that is the color. If we'll see this now, then see the border turned out to be like dotted within fraction of seconds, but the color is yet to come. If I'll keep just scroll it over, now the color changed. If I'll take the mouse back, the border will be back within seconds, but this color will take time. See, border was back and color is still taking time. Same will happen above. Color time, border is instant. Again, border instant, color is taking time. So this all basically stands for all the properties which we are like giving, or I can give it a comma and say, I want to give it a background color as well, or a background color property as well, right? Well, different properties we can give using this commas, or if you want to give it over all the properties at the same time, then simply write all, right? Cool. I also can give it a delay. This 3 seconds is quite big. Let's make it 2 seconds or maybe 1.2 seconds. And I want to give it a delay, right? I want it to happen after a few fraction of seconds. So I can give it a transition delay as well. I want to give it a delay of, let's say, 1 second. Let's see. Within 1 second, this transition is happening. Wait, let me refresh. This transition is happening because I have given the delay just to the color stuff, not to the border one. So the color stuff will change after 1 second, and within 2 seconds it will change. After 1 second and within 2 seconds. After 1 second, it will start changing. After 1 second, it will be back to the position, right? This is also one of the properties which we can give in it, and rest, I guess so. Transition. A small concept behind it is that the way we used to hover things, right? This div was in state 1 and this div was in state 2. These both are the same divs at the different times. This is state, sorry, this is state 1, this is state 2. Now, once I'll take my cursor up here, then the stage 1 with state 1 change to stage 2, and what changes we want is that how we give it in the hover, right? But these changes are very abrupt, abrupt as in very fast changes. If we want to give this change some time or some delays, and like if you want to increase the time over it and like different properties, so this is why we go for transition. So just go to MDN and read more about it. I gave you a gist of it, right? The same way we have transition, right? We have transform. What transform basically does is I'll do the transform here as well. I'll change the name from transition to transition and transform. And transform, right? Transition and transform. Let me just comment the above things out. or let us keep it like this. I'll just change this hover thing, right? I'll change this hover thing, and I'm commenting those as transition thing, right? If I'll save it and see, no change. Okay, there's no transition over it now. We are learning about transform. Now, what I want is there is basically like I want my text to like turn around or rotate or like show some show some kind of work in it when I hover over it, right? So what I can do is I can give it a transform thing. So transform basically has three axes, X, Y, and Z. And let's assume this is basically your text which is being written. If I want to rotate it, I can do it. If I want to like translate it, like move it from one place to another, I can do it. I can use my x-axis, y-axis as well. There are negative axes too, but like I can't make a diagram. I'm not that pro. If we go like this is minus z, and if I go like this is minus x and blah blah blah. Let's not go deep into it. Just remember three axes with their negatives as well. Okay, so let's see what all we can perform with our uh, transition thing. Oh, sorry, transform thing. So let's do one thing. I'm writing transform here. Now again, I want when my h1 is being overed, I want to give it a transform. We'll just show you and then explain what is happening. I want it to translate towards the x direction, and like at what pixels, like translate is to move from one position to another. Let's assume I want to make it move from make it move to 300 pixels. Let's see what happens. If I'll like touch over it, right? I'm hovering over it. It is like translating from its position to some other pixelated position which I gave here, that is 300. If I write it like 700, not 700, if I write it like 500, let's see. If I'll hover over it, then the position is being translated from one transformed from one position, like from the basic I would say the normal position to the one which was given after the hover condition, right? This is how we can translate things. We can translate, that is move from one position to another in the x-axis. Similarly, if you want to translate in the y-axis, simply change the x to y and save it. Now see, if I'll hover over the h1, it is going 500 down, like down the line, like in the y-axis. But if I negatively change it from one, like negatively, I give it a transition of 100, then see, it'll go towards the upper side, right? It is going towards the upper side. In a similar way, I can give it the Z transition as well. Let's see what does Z positive transition do. If I'll do it like this way, Z transition is not shown because either it will be coming towards your screen or inside your screen. So transition of X and Y is possible, but not Z. So let's comment this out for X and Y only. It's not feasibly visible, of course. Now let's go to the next transform. That's transform with, it was translate, right? I want to rotate it now. I want to rotate my h1 while hovering over it. So I want to rotate it with x-axis, of course. And if I want to rotate things, I can give it like a degree that how much I want it to rotate. Okay, let's assume I want to rotate it by 180 degree. If I'll just scroll over it, then it rotated. Like if you will see, it is somewhat like this. My text was written like this. We have and blah blah blah. This is basically your axis, and it actually turned in this way, right? The opposite in this way, from the back side to the upper side, right? If I'll go and see it again, see it properly, right? Exactly, it gave it a turn from 180 direction uh, in this way, the way in which I showed you, right? This is my axis, and it was written, and now the transition took place from the back towards the front. What if I don't want to do it in my x direction? Of course, I have my y direction for it as well. Again, 180. If I'll go, then see what happens. You got it. What happens there was something like just yeah, second. There was something regarding let's say a phase here. Now it is changing from this way to this way directly, right? Coming from the left side and going towards the right side, like this. I'm not good with this, but I hope you guys can understand. I'm not good at it at all. So see, the things are like turning entirely around. This is the place somewhere around where the axis being defined so that it can be divided properly and rotated from rotated from the left side towards the right side, right? So we can do it in the Z as well. Let's assume we are doing it with Z. This will be visible to you guys, right? See, it is like written opposite as well, and it's turning around as well. X and Y, both the features are being shown here. X and Y, both the features, right? I hope you can see. It's opposite as well as it has turned upside down. Opposite and upside down. So X and Y, both the features which were individually happening, this will occur in this rotate C, right? I can even translate it using my pixelate thing. Like I can also use this translate using transform. I'll write transform first. I need to use the transform property here, and I'll write translate. Here translate. I want it to be like translated with let's say with some percentage as well, like 220 pixel. Let's assume 50%. Let's see what will it show to us, right? See, it translated towards 220 and coming a bit down. Why so? Because I've translated it with both the direction. If I translate it with just giving one of the axes, then see what happens. It will simply go towards the opposite one. Translate X, right? That to 50%. Again, it's simple. Just go to MDN, go for transform, MDN transform, and read it from here. Like we must be having scale as well. Rotate, scale, yeah, scale. I'll explain about scale. Skew is easy. You guys can read. These are the properties which we can give with the transform functions, and see we have different functions of X and X, Y, Z scale, everything is there. So it's easy, pretty easy. I just gave you a glimpse. Go and check it out. The last thing which we'll do in transform is that we'll give it a transform scale as well. Let me just comment it out. Right. I'll give it a transform of scale. Let's say I want its scale to be 2 times of what it was initially, right? Just to scale towards my x-axis. Scale towards my x-axis. Let's see. Where is it? Okay. If I hover over it, see, it is turning out to be twice the size, but like it's gone somewhere else as well. So let's make it. Let's reduce the size. That will be easier for us to see, right? If I reduce it, then see, it is automatically being half of the size of what it initially was, and scale is being now 0.5 times of what it initially size was, and I can say it like 1.5 times as well, but it will go out of the frame for now, right? So this is how we can use the scale. I can use scale for X as well as for Y. Again, we have different ways. Like it is increasing the size in the Y direction, right? Increasing the size of it in the Y direction. I can decrease it as well, just depending on the value. If I want to increase it more, then yes, I just by simple hovering, I'm increasing the size of it by 2.5 times, right? Hope so. These things are clear to you. And let's do one more thing. Let's learn about this box shadow as well. Not a big topic, very small topic. So after that, we'll be just left with the next one. Let's. I'll do it this way, right? I'll comment it out, right? Uh, the way we were having the box with shadow we just did right now, right? We were having text shadow, right? The similar way we are having box shadow as well, right? Box shadow, SHADO, box shadow as well, right? So what I want is my box is over this inside my H1, right? Okay, inside my H1. So what I want to do is I want my H1 now to show some box shadow kind of thing. Like I'll simply encounter my H1 when I'll let's say when I want to hover over my H1 or anything, it can be any simple way. When I want to hover over an H1, I want its box shadow to come. Now I'll be like giving it the parameter the same way I used to give it for the text shadow, X offset, Y offset, X offset, Y offset, and this the like what do we say about this? The sharpness of it, right? All the same parameters which will be given, which we gave earlier. The similar way I'll give it here. 2 pixel. I want my X offset to be 2. Y offset. Is someone saying anything? My X offset to be 2 pixel, Y offset to be 2 pixel, and Now I want my sharpness of the shadow to be little 4. It can be anything, just a random number. And I want the text shadow to be of red color, right? Let's see. Right now it is not having any box shadow, but once I'll hover over it, then you can see some red text shadow is shown below. And if I'll just simply like reverse the signs or even reverse the sign for 1, it will change the direction. The direction is coming towards negative of X side and the bottom of Y, right? So if I'll increase the size, then it will be more visible to you. Let's make it more sharper. I see size of the border is now like looking good. Now, if I want to increase the size here, what I'll do, I'll simply transform the scale here. I'll simply copy here. And let's see, transform the scale by 2.5. Let's see what happens. Let's see, it is expanding as well as showing the box shadow at the same time, right? So this was all about text shadow as well as the cards, right? So also, you guys need to read about Z index, right? It's a like 1 or 2 liner topic. So I'll suggest you to read about Z index. It's like not, it will not take more than 5 minutes, Z index, and read about, I would say, uh, animations, read about animations. I'll give you an example. What time is it now? 6:40 already. Read about animations, read about Z-axis, and of course the properties which we did right now. Properties which we have done, which we have done by now, right? Again, MDN. I'll always emphasize on MDN, and because that's really important for each one of us, right? Along with that, do the homeworks which were given in the morning, right? Also, there was some announcement from Aditya sir. See, basically, it is really important for you guys to attend the classes. I'm just jotting down the points. Attending classes are must. You will be evaluated on the basis of like accumulative basis of your performance as well as your project. Along with that, your assignments which you do or the homework which we give, assignments plus homework. You will be like plus the project. I told about the project, right? Yeah. All these things are really important because you will be marked on the basis of accumulation of all these things, and for your like uh, this will be considered as an internship only when you will complete the entire tenure. Then only it will be like given. You will be given the certificates as well as I don't know about the perks of completing the internship right now, but all the perks will be given only when you will be like regularly attending the classes, doing the project when it time comes, when given by us, along with the assignments as well as homework, which we provide, right? So it's pretty important for every one of you to just like focus in the class as well as do your homework and make your assignments as well as projects, right? Hopefully, this is clear for all. And this was the announcement which was given by Aditya sir in the initial when most of you were not joined. So that's why I repeated this. So make sure you just follow all the theory rules. These are important. These are basically the rules of the game. Rules of it, right? So just kidding. Make sure of not to miss classes and be regular with it, right? Any doubts till now? Hope so. Things are clear, and of course you need to do the homework from your side because everything cannot be spoon feeded, and try to make different things like let's assume you go to some other website of Flipkart and all, just try to make it out, and any of the functionality you like something of some of the projects which are present with us, try to make that stuff that will increase your hands on and like make you little confident over your coding part, right? So start doing it. We are like on the urge to finish CSS, and soon we'll be starting with the JavaScript. So I want every one of you to like complete the projects of CSS before our JavaScript starts. Whatever projects and homeworks I'm giving, I'm talking about that. So just be fast and be regular with it, right? Now, any questions regarding this?
Excuse me, sir.
Excuse me.
Yes, Kushal.
So
Sir,
I just
there,
want to ask
when
that.
you
Yeah,
go
Kushal,
first.
tell me. Kushal,
Okay,
tell
I'll
me,
go.
tell me.
Yes, sir. Sir, when you use transform, I use it side by side to translate X and Y, and then it's going back and forth from the same position. So it is not possible to go through the X and Y axis at the same time, right?
It is possible. It's just like you don't have to give it, let's say we are using it, where is it transform? Translate X, right? If you just simply give it a translate and just remove your axis, right? Then it will take you towards, like, it will consider both the X axis as well as the Y axis at the same time.
Okay.
If you want just your X, then write X. If you want just your Y, then write Y. If you will not write X and Y, then it will consider to be both at the same time. It will translate from the X as well as from the Y. Yeah, tell.
So I just had a couple of questions that you just told you'll be evaluated on based on our projects.
Right.
So like, so you'll be helping us implement the project.
Of course,
right?
like the functionality stuff, like how we'll be making it and the basic layout, along with the, like, how we make servers, how we make posts, how we work with the databases, everything will be like, initially we'll be starting and we'll be like explaining it by hands-on everything. But ultimately it's you'll have to like make it the final touching along with adding one or two functionalities, right? So that will be on you, but the project we'll make it 90%, we'll make it together.
Sure, sir. And the second part, sir, the assignments, we have to submit it somewhere for evaluation.
Yeah, I'll be like sharing with a portal with you guys like by tomorrow. The portal is ready with us. It's like already we are working on it like since past time, but right now you guys are a big in number and we don't have your emails, right? So we'll connect with Nagarro and we'll get the databases of yours so that we can authorize you guys there, or maybe you will be the one who will be authorizing yourself on the portal, and then you'll be submitting assignments. That the interface will be very easy, so no worries. Nothing has been like a difficult part in working with the portals, and none of you is being marked right now, but you will only be marked once like the portal will be started and like we'll be evaluated. But once we'll be evaluating, right, we'll let you know and we'll let you like give one or 2 days if you guys are stuck with some of your work. That's not a hard and fast rule, but we want you to practice as well as complete all the assignments as and the projects which you be given, right? Can you please mention all the assignments? Assignment is only one till now, which we discussed today. Hi, I'll share my GitHub. Assignment is only one which we discussed today, but we are having homeworks of, initially we made a homework of, I guess, newspaper as well as the portfolio. And then we did what all we did, right? Let's just jot it here only. Initially make a newspaper. Not the newspaper, it was larger cities of the world. I'm sorry. With the tables, we made largest cities of the world. It should not like it's not like you have to do different functionality. It's just like you are able to apply the concepts over that time which were being taught. That is more than sufficient. Don't waste your time on things. Just like utilize it by practicing it, not by just being a geek and just working on one project for 3-4 hours. Right? Work on different things. Largest countries, tables, and portfolio with inputs. After that, I gave you an assignment, right? I feel today we gave a phone book, right? Today we gave phone book, and today we gave you a fixed name bar. These are basically for your practice, right? Fixed name bar. And have you given any more? I guess I gave one more today only. Let me just scroll up. Fixed name bar as well as newspaper, right? As well as newspaper. Any more projects which we gave? I guess this is enough. This is enough by now. Along with that, just do read MDN every time for every single thing which we taught. That is really important. Most important is this, and then this, along with one assignment which we gave, assignment which we discussed as well. Right. That's it. Nothing more than that, and just like make sure of these important points. These are really important for your evaluation. Right. So just keep this in mind and work hard. That's it. Yeah. Can you please let us from
Query regarding the internship, like
Nagarro will be providing you with the internship, right? Nagarro will be providing you with the internship, but you need to keep this in mind that all these aspects which were being told by Aditya sir as well as me, you need to take care of them and like give the best performance of yours. And at the accumulation of all these aspects, then you will be decided and judged on the basis.
Sir,
Right?
just a small query apart this, like from our college, we were told that this will be a 45 days internship, and we
Right.
are supposed to submit our internship report in the first week of August itself, and we
Okay.
are planned to have a viva for the same in our college for the same, but as per the curriculum, the expected date of ending these classes is around 24th of August.
See,
So
we'll try. See, again, once we'll start with the project, right? It totally depends on you and your pace, that how you will be making the project and what time devotion you will be giving to the project. But initial, I would say, like the moment we'll start with the project, within next 7 classes, we'll be through with it. That is at max. I'm telling you, it will be about your doubts and like your queries, your problems, which we are like stuck over. So these are also considered there. And I'm not working according to the, I would say, the syllabus. You guys also know this is our 7th, 8th class, and we are still on CSS. I just want you to get the grasp of all the important stuff which are required in the industry, as well as which will be required to you in the Nagarro as well. Even if it will take 1 or 2 classes more or less, that is totally on me. And totally, I don't want to like skip those concepts and okay, I don't want to tease this. I'll proceed further and all. See, time should not be an issue. You also side by side prepare for stuff. Like I'm like giving so much content for you to just go to the NT and read all these stuff. You'll be ready for the interview within this internship only, but it's all about you, that how much time you take to just finish up with your project of Twitter clone. And the faster you will do it, the better you will be, and you'll be marked good as well. So it's a both way process. You and I both are responsible for the things, but don't worry, you will be given the certification. Nagarro will provide you with that and project as well. So don't worry about it. But you have to work hard for it. It will not be like you'll not be provided your meal inside your plate. You'll have to work hard for it. That's what the internship means, right? Hopefully doubts are clear, but don't worry. I'll try to like I've increased my pace a lot. I'll try to wind up things pretty soon. I just give you examples and basic just what need you to know and what all properties are important from my point of view. So I guess these are more than sufficient, and all you just need to do is do your self homework, and that's it. I need to share my GitHub, right? Just a second. I'm sharing my GitHub. Right. I am just pushing the code as well. This is my GitHub. I'm pushing the code as well. Yeah. It's service. Okay, right. Git all. Today is lecture 5, right? Lecture 5 plus ASSI assignment discuss plus we did anything else? So lecture 5 and assignment discuss. That's it. Okay. Check out my sorry on the main thing. It push. Right, the code has been pushed, and you guys can check it out from there. Right, the session is excited for tomorrow's session with Manmohan sir. Oh, great, great, great. That's pretty great. Okay, so learn all the concepts till tomorrow, and it'll be like good for you all if Manmohan sir will guide you the right way and the better way, of course. So all the best for that, and study hard, do your homeworks, and okay, let's meet tomorrow class. Let's see, meet for around 11. It's around 11, so we'll meet tomorrow at 11, right?